After 4 weeks of oil spill in Nembe, as a result of damaged Wellhead 1, the spill was eventually stopped by a team of engineers. But why did it take more than 1 month to clamp Wellhead 1 in Nembe? This is one question many are asking amid growing concerns by environmentalists in the country. The company contracted to kill the wellhead attempts to provide answers in this exclusive interview with Arise News correspondent Ovieteme George.
That moment when the workers at the site battled to cap Wellhead 01 of OML 29 belonging to ITO Eastern Exploration and Production Company. It looks like attempting to clean the Augean stables, but the men are willing to stay the course until the stubborn wellhead bowed to sustained pressure. Somehow, the workers acknowledge the fact that their efforts would not have paid off without a stroke of the divine.
About 2.
Early November, the world woke up to a disturbing incident. Oil Wellhead 01 was spewing crude oil into the Santa Barbara River. But on the 8th of December, the wellhead was capped. Now that's some good news to the company ITO and of course Kenyan International and the communities concerned because of the impact of the oil spill flowing all the way from the Warikumakiri to other communities and fishing settlements. But it is now in the dark pages of the community's history. And today I have with me the founder and chief executive officer of Kenyan International. Well, how did you feel after weeks of battling here and then the well was capped?
I feel excited because Nigeria is also very happy about the news that the wellhead has been capped. I also feel so much excited because we have been able to do it internally. We have been able to solve our own problem, that Nigerians can be trusted to do jobs, not the other way around. ITO, being the largest indigenous oil company in Nigeria, can entrust their wells to a Nigerian company to work on them. I feel very excited that we, Kenyan International, has been able to record this feat.
Even with that excitement, there were concerns about how long it took for your company to clamp the well. Why did it take so long?
In company operation, human safety is number one. So you need to think about the safety of the environment, the safety of the people doing the job. So we took it upon ourselves, and in our process of planning, we plan to execute this job without human being hurt, without the environment being thrown into a disaster. If you can see, the well was spilling oil and gas. So if you're not careful, you may lift up the entire environment with fire. So we took our time to plan the job, but the job is supposed to be executed in 24 hours because we have been doing this in Nigeria, but it has not been in the news. So this well is located in a creek, and the creek has a problem with tide. So tide is a major concern with us in operation here, because if you are working on a low tide, all this massive equipment you are seeing here, they are floating on the water. But if there is a low tide, we may not be able to work. So when we plan the job to work on 10 hours per day. That was why we told the ITO that we'll be able to cap it in 48 hours. But when we got here, we discovered that there is a peculiarity about this environment. This environment has issue with low tide. And when it's low tide, it can't work. The tide are only giving us only 2 to 3 hours to work in a day. Where this well is also located, it took us a longer time for us to mobilize our equipment from Port Harcourt into this place. This well is not an open river. So you see, all this massive equipment must move through all these creeks. And in some places, they have to shut down and wait to move the other day when the tide is down because they don't want to get aground in the river. So that the journey that's supposed to take about 2 days ended up taking about 3 to 4, 5 days before we got to site.
Environmentalists have raised some concerns about this. Is it yet Uhuru? Is the well completely killed? What are the next steps to give the people some form of assurance that the place is safe?
Okay,
how long will it take?
Okay, I have to give it to ITO. They came up to say, what is the solution that we can give to our wells? Not just capping it. What can we do to prevent the well from, blowing out again? Not just this well, but some other wells. And they don't want this to happen again. So we came prepared that after capping the well, we need to secure the well, subsurface and surface. So this equipment you see here is a technology that is going to run a plug downhole to set the plugs on the hole so that whatsoever is coming from the reservoir cannot come to the surface. And after that, we are also going to install what we call anti-theft technology into the X-mastery, that anybody that goes in there to have access to the X-mastery will not be able to break it. So after killing the well, we're going to run what we call wireline. We're going to go into the well, plug the well subsurface so that pressure can come up upward. And when we are done with that, we're going to come to the surface and lock the X-mastery with our technology so that if there is any intruder that want to have access to the well, you will not be able to take any containment in the well. Why the security agency cordoned off the environment was because of gas. They didn't want people to come in here with their phones because we were very careful that we don't want to lead this community with fire. So if you see, the environment was actually charged up. So we wanted to screen to know the people coming in. And when you want to come in here, you don't want to come in here with any gadget. So you don't want to come in here alone. So we were waiting when the gas and everything is being, sealed up, we can allow people to come in and look at what has been done. Now, for the community, we, Kenya International, are also going to work with ITO to see how to send more relief materials to the affected community. If you look around here, it's not everybody here that are employee of Kenya International. So what we did was, when we got here, we asked our people to engage the Lugus. Whatsoever job you think the Lugus can handle, you give it to them. So they brought them in here. They have been working with us for the past 10 days. And when we are leaving, we are also fully going to compensate them. Not just monetary-wise, but we're also going to give them some relief materials to cushion the effects of whatsoever they experience in this environment.
I would like to say thank you.
The conversation with the founder and chief executive officer of the company contracted to stop the leak from Wellhead 01 was quite expository. Curiosity, however, got me to embark on a short-distance boat ride to the facility.
Wellhead 01 of ITO's OML 29 has been the subject of concern, worry, anxiety, and in recent times, controversy because of the disputation of the volume of crude spilled into the Santa Barbara River. In fact, this area, the Warikumakiri. But today, the good news is the company is working after clamping the well to ensure that this doesn't happen again. It may take some time for the people of Nembe to recover from this incident, a major one in the dark pages of their history, but succor will come from the divine. Ovieteme George, Arise News.
Now been joined by Ovieteme George in Bayelsa. Good morning, Ovieteme. Morning.
Good morning, Tundun. Good morning, Rufai.
Great report, as always. Thank you so much for bringing us that report. But as you were saying, the people of Nembe will want to put this, behind them, relegate this issue to history. But how soon is that going to happen? We heard from the gentleman from Kenyan International there that they were able to employ some of the locals and that they will be compensating them for their work and they'll be giving relief materials. But in what quantity? Is it substantial? What are the thoughts of the people of Nembe at the moment?
Well, I'd have to feel the pulse of the people to know their reaction to that, because that interview was done just a few days ago when we gained access to the spill site. You know, the company indicated and stated in no little terms why it evaded others who were asking questions and why it denied environmentalists and some journalists access to that place. But I think it's good news to the people. But you see, making a promise is one thing, fulfilling it is another. So the people who want to see such promises come to fruition, engaging them to work at the site is one good thing. It is the normal thing for oil companies, multinationals to engage locals in a place. If we want to go by the Nigerian law, it should be 60% local content. I don't know if it is applied there, but elsewhere, there has been this disputation over the years. But the thing is, when work is completed in a particular area where the locals are engaged, when the work is completed, more like what they get is something you could say severance package. You sever ties with them, you give them something like Victor Ekpenyong there, the Chief Executive Officer of Kenyan, said, we'll give them something as compensation for working there, so they have to proceed elsewhere. Now, the mention of relief materials, that again is something quite appreciative. You know, if it comes to pass, the people will be grateful to the company, and also ITO. ITO has done that, I think, on 2 occasions. But you see, it is never enough for a people whose means of livelihood has been halted, has been destroyed, technically, so to speak, until they can get their lives back. That is dependent on the restoration of the environment. We're talking about remediation work and also cleanup exercise that should have commenced, and I don't know why it hasn't commenced yet. So the company said they would do all that to give the people some sense of belonging. It is more like an expression of love and responsibility for what was never the people's fault. You know, accidents do actually happen, but when it happens, what do? You don't leave the people like that. And so that's the reason the Victor Ekpenyong made that promise there. But I would like to see them fulfill it, and I want to be part of it too. I want to be there to say, yes, they fulfilled their promises. Still talking about relief materials. The Bayelsa State government, after the local government chairman, Alalibo West, provided relief materials, the Bayelsa State government has also done same. And I believe they want to continue, because nothing is enough for a people whose agrarian culture, tradition, and lifestyle has been disrupted, has been interrupted. So now, this is what gives me some concern. Just over a month, the blowout, and then it was capped on the 8th. Take it to be that the Christmas tree was stopped in the month of Christmas, but the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has not shown up yet. This is not right. I can pass judgment on this one. It is expected that they should emergency, national emergency. Emergency, it means there has to be swiftness, there has to be speed. Go to the site, show the people love, sympathy, empathy, and do whatever you can. And also, in this context, support the efforts of the local government chairman and also the state government. And then let the people have their lives back gradually.
Okay.
I don't know how soon. It will take some time, because we're talking about the environment here. Look at Ogoni now. What has been done up to today? Maybe they are working, but it is just too slow. The people don't really have their lives back yet in Ogoni. Now, this has happened in Nembe.
Okay. I mean, thank you so much for those insights, Ovieteme, and good dancing yesterday with Mama. Anyway, that's a part. I saw that yesterday. But Ovieteme, I am very confused this morning. I'm a confused man, because if Kenyan International could have stopped the spill, the sputterings from the Christmas tree, then why was the rigmarole about boots and coots prior to this time? And has the environment minister even visited this place? Because I don't get now. Kenyan International could do it. It's a Nigerian company. But there was once a rigmarole about boots and coots. So why didn't we just get Kenyan International to stop the sputterings all this while? I'm confused.
Maybe I will start with the second question. You asked if the environment minister has been here. My eyesights are still very good in perfect condition, and I believe I will be seeing very clearly when I attain 120 years. You know, That is my prayer. I haven't seen the Minister of Environment, neither have I seen the Minister of State for Environment, Sharon Ikeazo, who described, what she saw. Probably she saw a video, and then, she was a bit shocked about that. Has she visited the place? How then do you talk about a place when you've not visited? It is what you see that you tell the world. Perhaps you could use stronger adjectives when you visit the place. That is just the reality we're trying to grapple with. The slow response, and now that it has been capped, it is even safe for them to come. Now, this morning, the House of Reps committee will be visiting the site, and I was called, and I told them I would be there. So when I'm done with this interview, I should be running with them to go and see the extent of damage, what they can do to support the people. That is where the attention is right now. I just lost your first question, please.
All right, so if Kenyon International could have capped the well, then why was the rigmarole about boots and coots?
Okay, I get it now. It is traditionally a Nigerian issue. Oftentimes, the confidence and belief is that others outside in other countries can do better. And that's what's happening to your national team today. Gennett Rowe was given the boot yesterday. He has spent the longest time as coach of the Super Eagles. But we have local coaches there. Shuaibu Mudu of blessed memory, Stephen Keshi of blessed memory, and today now Egwavon. I think this is his second attempt at it, a second bite at the cherry, if you like. Oftentimes we try what we call expatriates. And when they fail, you look back. And in this case, I think Kenyon was able to convince ITAO. Maybe, just maybe, I cannot really make a psychological introspection into the mindset of ITAO. But maybe they had a little doubt and said, okay, let us see what these people can do. And then when I spoke in private with the chief executive officer of Kenyon International, he told me, they had challenges getting to the site. Initially, ITO promised it will be clamped in 2 days. It went beyond 2 days. And then Kenyon, an official there, said in less than 1 week. But it was clamped in exactly 1 week. So oftentimes we should look inwards. We have engineers. We should have Nigerian Society of Engineers. Let us have faith. Let us have confidence. Let us believe in digging deeper and believing in local content. Some of these things, you see, they just bring outsiders, foreigners, so to speak, and pay them huge sums of money. It is not just an ITAO issue. It's a Nigerian issue. We are supposed to be looking inwards. President Muhammadu Buhari is talking about local content. He wants to deepen local content, ensure that there's so much, to be achieved. And when I spoke with engineer Simbi Wabote, executive secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, he said the same thing. He is doing the same thing. Some of this fabrication that used to be done by expatriates are now being done by Nigerians in Nigeria. We should believe in our own country. Now look at what Kenyon has done. It's a bold statement to the world. It's a bold statement to ITAO and also other companies that let us look inwards. These are issues we can handle. And in the process of handling it, we're engaging Nigerians. The youths who oftentimes are branded restive in the Niger Delta are also working there at the site, the oil spill site at Warikumakiri. So I was so impressed. I was happy to see them work. The only sad thing is at the end of the project, they will be given a severance package and they will move on. But I believe maybe one or two could make the mark and get employed. This is one thing Nigerians should take seriously. So that's boots and cooks and cookery and whatever it is. They had no hand here. It was just simply Kenyon International that did it.
Well, I want to say amen to your prayer for yourself, Ovieteme. But also to go back to Nembe. I mean, Nembe is charged with disaster management in Nigeria. Why do they, stop short of coming to the aid of the people in Nembe? Because we hear all the time, Nembe is active when it comes to IDPs, victims of flooding, and what have you. Oil spills are also a disaster. Can you try and make sense of why they've been absent?
I really do not have an alert answer on my fingers to give or to share this morning. It beats me. It beats you. It beats Rufai. It beats Nigerians. Why would Nembe? No statement officially. I haven't seen. Maybe they have. But you see, Nembe is not known for making statements. They are known for visiting crisis-ridden areas. During the flood, probably when bandits attack a place, or hoodlums or known gunmen, the way we've come to know it in Nigeria. They visit such places and give the people some form of succor, temporary succor, while the people begin to hope that they will have their lives back. But I don't know what's happening. I don't really have an answer. For the first time, I'm at my wit's end. What is NEMA doing? The word emergency in NEMA, in that acronym, is not being utilized at all. So it is sad. The governor made a statement when we had him live on the Rise. The day he came back from the troubled spot, that is the oil spill site, he arrived the Bassam Bridge jetty, and he said, NEMA, if it were in other places, whatever he meant, he said, if it were in other places, NEMA would have run down there. But now he's expecting them, they haven't shown up. Environmentalists, Environmental Rights Action and Friends of the Earth Nigeria, Maurice Alagwa, project officer, said the same thing about NEMA last week, that they would have run to certain places to provide succor to the people. Here, I don't know. We're talking about oil that has been oiling and greasing the wheels of the Nigerian economy since 1956. Till date, it is still the mainstay of the economy, and NEMA is not here. I really can't find them around. I've been searching.
Okay, Ovieteme, real quickly. When will the legal action start? When will the payment of the compensation start? When will the cleanup start?
I'll take the first question. The legal process starts. That would definitely be the decision of the communities affected. Over 45 and maybe sufficient settlements. And of course, who will take that up? The elite among them, the educated ones among them. When there was destruction in Odi, a certain man, Lucius Nwosu, took the case pro bono, and eventually they won the case and they were compensated. Now the people of Nembe need somebody to speak for them. To speak for them. What can they do? They are just like peasant farmers and fishermen on the coastline. When you're riding on a canoe or driving on a boat, you just see them by the side and you feel sorry for them. What can they do? Now, in the immediate, for them to be alive to see this happen, the environment has to be remediated. The environment has to be cleaned up. I haven't seen, I'm going there today again, and I will ask this question to the members of the House of Reps Committee. What is NEMA doing about it? And how soon can the remediation and cleanup exercise begin? Because, take it or leave it, the environment is still polluted. It is the normal process. For Ogoni, they said about 30 years. And the cleanup didn't start early enough until at the earliest stages of this government, Muhammadu Buhari's administration. That was when they started. How far have they gone? The answers come in short supply. Now, this one has just happened. And it's river, it flows, it ebbs and it flows. You know, why the people found it difficult to take their barges down there is because of, tidal challenges. And right now, it's flowing to other communities too. Though a bit contained, that is the good news. If it were still spilling, it would have gone further than that. It would have gone further, rather, than that. So as it stands now, the main thing, the major concern environmentalists are expressing right now is, let the cleanup exercise start now. Litigations maybe can come later whenever they want to. They know how to settle these things because they will talk in the language the people understand. But first, the people have to stay alive. Nothing is being done yet.
Staying alive is quite a challenging one. And Ovieteme, real quickly, before we go, because I know we have to go now, I'd just like to ask you, have you been able to talk to any of the villagers affected in this? Because nobody has been talking about their voices being heard in all of this. What do they even say? The villagers, what do they say?
Well, before the spill was contained, I spoke to them. It was all about lamentations. Lamentations at the coastline, by the shore, that their lifestyle is gone. They can't fish. Farming is a secondary occupation. But then, the mangroves are affected. You see, when you're driving by the coastline, you see some traps by the coastline. Crayfish and other aquatic bodies, they just get them easily. And that's what they sell. They buy and sell. I say buy and sell because some come to buy and sell again, while some have the access to sell directly to people. That is their means of commerce, their means of livelihood and survival. Right now, it is no longer there. It's a case of going further to other communities, other fishing settlements, other areas that are actually occupied by others to fish. Because around those affected areas, you don't see fishes anymore. You just cannot see. It's not possible. I saw some crabs, you know, of the crustacean family, dead already. I grabbed one. It was smelling. It means it was rotting away. Fishes naturally, by instinct, will run away from that area because it is a death knell. It is a death sentence for them to stay within that environment. You don't see fishes there. So that's the situation. But post-spill, I still have to go talk to them and see what they have to say, hear them. Sometimes when you go there, you talk to them in a language they understand. Some will tell you, won't you drop, go drop something? How can somebody just beg you and you're just a journalist? It's because they don't have. You just talk to them, don't worry, the government is working on it, and then you make your getaway. Sometimes you just drop 500, 1,000 and go. You're happy giving them money because you know you're sowing into their lives. I believe they all stay alive to see this spill clamped, to see this spill completely cleaned from their environment as it was clamped on the 8th of December, the Christmas tree in the month of Christmas. Maybe they will have some Christmas to celebrate. I can't say for now. But the environment to be cleaned up, it might go beyond Christmas.
All right, thank you so much, Ovieteme George, for your in-depth report.